The story begins on the vast, sun-drenched plains of the Blackwood Ranch, a sprawling estate that has been in the family for generations. Rolling hills stretch as far as the eye can see, dotted with grazing cattle and clusters of ancient oak trees whose gnarled branches whisper secrets of the past. The ranch is more than a livelihood. It is a symbol of pride, heritage, and perseverance passed down from one generation to the next. Its fences, weathered but sturdy, tell the story of countless seasons of labor, storms weathered, and prosperity earned through hard work. At the heart of this legacy is the patriarch, Harrison Blackwood, a man whose presence commands both respect and quiet fear. His hands, calloused from decades of tending cattle and managing the land, speak of a lifetime of dedication. Yet beneath his stern exterior lies a man deeply invested in preserving the family's honor, reputation, and wealth. Harrison is meticulous, sometimes overbearing, but his love for his family and for the ranch is undeniable. The estate thrives under his careful guidance, but cracks are beginning to show in the rigid structure of tradition he has imposed. Harrison's children are central to the unfolding story. Each of them embodies a distinct facet of the ranch's legacy. Emily, the eldest daughter, is fiercely independent and deeply attuned to the rhythms of the land. She carries the wisdom of years working alongside her father, but she also harbors dreams beyond the ranch, dreams that clash with her sense of duty. Matthew, the middle child, is charming but reckless, with ambitions that sometimes blur the line between ingenuity and irresponsibility. And then there is the youngest, Lucas, who left the ranch years ago under a cloud of conflict. His absence has been a source of quiet tension, and the land feels incomplete without him. Each child reflects both the strengths and vulnerabilities of the Blackwood family, and their personalities set the stage for the conflicts and bonds that will define the story. The ranch staff is equally integral, a community of loyal hands who have grown up alongside the family. Ranch foreman Tom is practical and steadfast, a man whose loyalty to the Blackwoods is unwavering, though his patience is often tested by the family's internal dramas. Other ranch workers, from seasoned cowhands to younger apprentices, form a tapestry of relationships that support, and sometimes complicate, the family's life. Within this microcosm of the ranch, loyalty and trust are currency, and every interaction carries weight, whether spoken or silent. As the sun rises over the horizon, casting golden light across the pastures, the reader senses the rhythm of life on the ranch, the lowing of cattle, the clatter of boots on wooden floors, the scent of hay mingling with the crisp morning air. This is a place where history and present intertwine, where love and conflict are embedded in the soil itself. Beneath the idyllic surface, tensions simmer. Unspoken rivalries, hidden desires, and past grievances linger in corners, waiting to surface. The ranch is both sanctuary and stage, a world in which every decision echoes through generations. The calm rhythm of life at Blackwood Ranch is abruptly disrupted by the unexpected arrival of Lucas, the youngest Blackwood sibling. He had left the ranch years ago under circumstances that were never fully explained. An argument with his father, a secret he refused to share, and a resentment that had simmered quietly beneath the surface. His return is not just a homecoming. It is a seismic event, one that shakes the carefully maintained balance of the ranch and brings a whirlwind of emotions to the family and staff alike. Lucas's arrival is first hinted at with whispers among the ranch hands. Tom, the foreman, notices a sleek, dust-covered truck approaching from the horizon, kicking up clouds of golden earth. His brow furrows as he recognizes the driver, a man who once seemed inseparable from the land and yet had walked away without a word. The other workers exchange uncertain glances, sensing that this return will change everything. Rumors ripple through the ranch like wildfire. Why has Lucas come back after so many years? Is he seeking reconciliation, or does he have another agenda? When Lucas finally steps out of the truck, the scene is tense and charged with emotion. His tall frame, weathered from years away, contrasts sharply with the familiarity of the ranch he left behind. There is a confidence in his stride, yet a subtle hesitation in his eyes, a mixture of apprehension and longing. He carries no luggage, only the weight of unresolved conflicts and the hope of finding his place once again. His presence immediately awakens memories long buried in the minds of his family members. Harrison's stern expression softens briefly, betraying a flicker of paternal concern and buried guilt. Emily's eyes widen in surprise, a storm of questions forming in her mind about the brother she barely recognizes. Matthew's jaw tightens with a mix of envy and suspicion, fearing that Lucas's return might disrupt his standing in the family. The initial interactions are loaded with subtext. Harrison greets Lucas with a restrained formality, masking both relief and lingering disappointment. Lucas responds with a measured respect, careful to tread the line between humility and assertion. Conversations are clipped, polite yet tense, filled with double meanings and unspoken accusations. Even simple gestures, a handshake, a glance, a nod, carry the weight of years apart and the unhealed fractures in their relationships. Lucas's presence also stirs memories among the ranch staff. Tom recalls the days when Lucas was a young man working tirelessly alongside his father, learning the intricacies of the land and livestock. The apprentices whisper among themselves, both curious and wary of how the prodigal son might influence the established order. Some hope for reconciliation. Others fear the disruption of the carefully maintained routines. Beyond the personal dynamics, Lucas's return signals the beginning of deeper narrative tensions. His presence immediately hints at unresolved secrets and upcoming conflicts. What drove him away in the first place? What has he been hiding all these years? And how will his return affect the fragile balance of love, trust, and loyalty within the Blackwood family? As night falls over the ranch, the tension does not dissipate. Shadows stretch across the familiar land, casting the past and present into sharp relief. Lucas sits quietly in the main house, watching the flickering fireplace, and contemplates the choices that led him away and the uncertain path ahead. The ranch, once a sanctuary, now feels like a testing ground, one where old wounds may reopen, where alliances will be questioned, and where love and betrayal are poised to collide. Life on Blackwood Ranch, though disrupted by Lucas's return, gradually returns to its rhythm, but an undercurrent of excitement and tension begins to weave through the air. Amid the familiar scent of hay, the clatter of boots, and the lowing of cattle, a different kind of energy begins to spark. Romance. It starts subtly, almost imperceptibly, but its presence quickly becomes undeniable. Lucas, while reconnecting with the land and his family, finds himself drawn to someone unexpected, a young woman named Clara, who has recently joined the ranch as an apprentice veterinarian. Clara is unlike anyone Lucas has ever met. Intelligent, independent, and compassionate, she carries an aura of calm assurance that contrasts with the storm of emotions Lucas harbors. She treats the animals with gentle expertise, earning the respect of the ranch hands and even the wary approval of Harrison. Lucas, meanwhile, is intrigued not just by her skill, but by her confidence and sense of self. Their initial interactions are professional but charged, a fleeting glance here, a shared laugh there, and small gestures of kindness begin to deepen their connection. The romance develops in quiet, everyday moments. Lucas helps Clara tend to a sick calf, his hand brushing hers accidentally but memorably. They share rides across the sprawling pastures, discussing dreams, challenges, and stories of the ranch's history. Each interaction builds trust, and the pair begin to understand each other in ways they did not anticipate. Lucas finds in Clara a safe space to reveal vulnerabilities he has long hidden, while Clara senses the depth of Lucas's pain and potential. Their attraction is magnetic, slow-burning, and layered with the complexities of their circumstances. But the romance is not without complications. Matthew, ever the rival, notices the growing closeness between Lucas and Clara and feels a mix of jealousy and fear that his position in the family and the ranch hierarchy is threatened. Rumors among the ranch staff begin to circulate, some supportive, some critical, and the delicate balance of loyalty and gossip starts to fray. Emily, protective of her family and the ranch, senses potential danger in Lucas's attachment, worried that romance might cloud judgment or exacerbate tensions already simmering in the household. Meanwhile, the very land they walk upon seems to echo their feelings. Sunrise over the pastures feels intimate, as if the ranch itself conspires to nurture their connection. Shared work, mending fences, herding cattle, and feeding horses, becomes a metaphor for partnership, teamwork, and mutual support. Yet beneath these idyllic moments, a subtle tension remains. Every glance, every touch, carries the unspoken weight of family expectations, old grievances, and the looming threat of betrayal. Their relationship also exposes layers of their individual characters. Lucas's charm masks lingering guilt and unresolved anger at his father, while Clara's patience conceals past heartbreak and a determination to protect herself emotionally. As they draw closer, their personalities both clash and complement each other, creating a dynamic that is intense, vulnerable, and deeply human. The ranch becomes their crucible, testing their feelings while providing sanctuary from the outside world. The idyllic rhythm of life on Blackwood Ranch begins to fracture as secrets long buried slowly rise to the surface. The arrival of Lucas and the blossoming romance between him and Clara act as catalysts, forcing buried tensions and hidden betrayals into the light. What seemed like a peaceful family estate is revealed to be a complex web of lies, half-truths, and unspoken resentments. The first hints of betrayal appear in the financial management of the ranch. Harrison, always meticulous, begins noticing discrepancies in the accounts. Funds meant for repairs, livestock, and feed have mysteriously disappeared, and the numbers no longer add up. Suspicion naturally falls on the youngest generation, Lucas and Matthew, though neither is guilty of embezzlement. Instead, it becomes clear that someone within the staff, trusted for years, has been siphoning money for personal gain. Tom, the foreman, confronts a longtime ranch hand who has been acting suspiciously, but the truth is only partially revealed, creating tension and mistrust among the employees. Simultaneously, personal betrayals begin to surface. Emily uncovers evidence that Matthew has been secretly pursuing business deals outside the family's knowledge, aiming to leverage the ranch's name for personal profit. His actions, driven by ambition and envy, threaten the stability of the family's legacy and betray the trust of those who believed in him. The discovery creates a rift between the siblings, with Emily confronting Matthew in a heated argument that leaves the household tense and divided. Romantic betrayals also add to the mounting tension. Clara finds herself at the center of gossip when other staff members begin speculating about her relationship with Lucas. Some insinuations are malicious, hinting that she is manipulating him for her own benefit, while others question her loyalty to the ranch itself. Clara's patience and professionalism are tested as whispers grow louder, and she must navigate the fragile balance between protecting her integrity and nurturing her newfound love. In the midst of these revelations, Lucas uncovers a secret about his own past. Hidden letters, old photographs, and hushed conversations reveal that his departure years ago was influenced not only by his conflict with his father, but also by a deliberate betrayal from someone he once trusted implicitly. The realization cuts deeply, igniting anger, hurt, and a desire for both reconciliation and justice. Lucas's struggle to confront these truths while maintaining his relationships with his family and Clara adds layers of emotional complexity to the story. The ranch itself mirrors these conflicts. Broken fences, sick livestock, and delayed maintenance serve as metaphors for the fractures in trust, loyalty, and love that are spreading through the family and staff. Even the landscape, once a symbol of stability and heritage, feels unsettled. Storm clouds gather over the pastures, hinting at the literal and figurative storms to come. Just as the Blackwood family struggles to navigate the web of betrayals and simmering rivalries within, a new external threat emerges, casting a shadow over the ranch that is as formidable as the internal strife. The ranch's stability, its financial security, legacy, and very existence comes under attack from forces outside the family, forcing them to confront not only their personal conflicts, but the harsh realities of the world beyond their land. The threat first becomes apparent when representatives from a powerful land development company arrive at the ranch. They offer to buy portions of the Blackwood property, presenting lucrative deals that could solve financial gaps caused by the earlier embezzlement. At first, the proposal seemed tempting, especially to Matthew, whose ambition blinds him to the sentimental value of the land. Harrison, however, sees this as more than a financial transaction. It is a potential erasure of the Blackwood legacy, a violation of the land his family has nurtured for generations. The clash of visions between profit and heritage sets off heated debates, with each family member taking sides, further straining fragile relationships. In addition to corporate threats, rival ranchers see opportunity in the Blackwood's internal discord. Rumors circulate of cattle being stolen or fences sabotaged. Suspicion grows among the staff, and trust frays even further. Every shadow, every missing piece of equipment becomes a potential sign of treachery, heightening tension and paranoia. Lucas, who has returned only recently, finds himself torn between defending the family and confronting old wounds, while Emily steps into a leadership role, trying to rally both family and workers against the mounting threats. Nature itself becomes a force to reckon with. Unseasonal storms sweep across the plains, flooding pastures and endangering livestock. Irrigation systems fail under pressure, and the threat of lost crops and weakened cattle looms large. The ranch, a symbol of enduring stability, suddenly feels vulnerable. The weather acts as a mirror to the family's struggles, reinforcing the sense that both internal and external challenges are converging in ways that cannot be ignored. Amid these threats, the romance between Lucas and Clara faces additional pressure. Clara, devoted to both the animals and Lucas, is drawn into the crisis, helping with the care of injured livestock and tending to damaged property. Her partnership with Lucas deepens as they work side by side. But the danger also magnifies the stakes. Every decision now carries consequences not only for the ranch, but for the fragile trust and love growing between them. Their bond strengthens, but so does the potential for heartbreak should the ranch or family fail. Harrison, feeling the weight of both his family's personal conflicts and the external pressures, begins to consider compromises he had once ruled out. Yet his instincts clash with the reality before him. Should he sell part of the ranch to save the rest? Can he trust Matthew's judgment or rely on Lucas's perspective? These questions force the patriarch to confront his own vulnerabilities, revealing a side of him seldom seen, one of doubt, fear, and the desperate desire to protect his family legacy at all costs. Just as the Blackwood family struggles to navigate both internal betrayals and external threats, the past begins to seep back into the present, revealing secrets long buried beneath years of silence and careful control. These revelations shake the very foundation of the ranch, forcing each family member to confront truths that have been kept hidden for decades. The legacy they have fought to preserve suddenly feels fragile, as if the soil beneath their feet carries the weight of unresolved histories. The first shock comes when Lucas discovers a stack of old letters in a forgotten study. These letters, written by his late mother, contain confessions and hints about family secrets no one had dared to speak aloud. Among them is a revelation about a hidden sibling, a child born before Lucas and kept secret due to scandal and societal pressures. The letters imply that this sibling may have been placed with another family, their existence hidden to protect the Blackwood's reputation. Lucas is stunned. The carefully constructed reality of his family, the sense of knowing his place in the lineage, is suddenly thrown into chaos. Meanwhile, Harrison receives a visitor from his own past, a former business partner who hints at an old betrayal that continues to haunt the ranch. This individual reminds Harrison of a failed land deal, one that cost him financially and morally, and raises questions about the true origins of the Blackwood fortune. The patriarch is forced to confront uncomfortable truths, past compromises, hidden debts, and mistakes he had long hoped to forget. The revelation shakes his confidence, making him question decisions he once thought were unassailable. Emily, in her quest to protect the ranch, uncovers another secret, evidence of a past romance between Harrison and a local woman, which had been carefully concealed to avoid scandal. The revelation adds complexity to the family's understanding of loyalty, love, and sacrifice. Emily wrestles with a mixture of shock and empathy, realizing that the rigid, controlled world her father has built is more complicated and human than she had imagined. These discoveries also stirred doubts about Matthew's ambitions and intentions, as she begins to question how much the next generation truly understands about the family's legacy. Lucas and Clara, whose relationship has been growing steadily, are also impacted by the resurfacing secrets. Clara learns from the letters about the family's past deceptions and hidden conflicts, making her cautious in her interactions with the Blackwoods. She struggles with the knowledge that while love exists, it is entwined with layers of history, deceit, and unresolved guilt. This tension introduces emotional depth to their romance, creating challenges that go beyond the immediate struggles of ranch life. The ranch itself seems to reflect these resurgent secrets. Structures built decades ago begin to falter. Fences that were repaired meticulously now show cracks. The landscape, once a symbol of stability, mirrors the turbulence in the family's relationships. Even the animals, sensitive to shifts in energy, seem restless, as though aware that the foundation of their home is under strain. The once blooming romance between Lucas and Clara, which had been a quiet source of warmth amid the chaos of the Blackwood Ranch, now faces its first true tests. The combination of family tensions, resurging secrets, and external threats begins to put pressure on their relationship, revealing vulnerabilities that neither Lucas nor Clara had fully anticipated. What had started as flirtation and mutual admiration now requires careful navigation through a minefield of suspicion, jealousy, and emotional baggage. The first strain arises from Lucas's divided attention. While his heart is with Clara, his loyalty to the family and the ranch demands constant vigilance. He is pulled in multiple directions, supporting his father in difficult decisions, mediating conflicts with Emily and Matthew, and attempting to repair fractured relationships with the ranch staff. Clara notices the weight on Lucas's shoulders, and her concern grows. She fears that the family's unresolved issues and the looming external threats may push him away, or worse, create barriers they cannot overcome. Matthew's jealousy compounds the tension. Already envious of Lucas's close bond with their father and his apparent natural leadership, Matthew begins subtly undermining their relationship. He makes offhand comments that sow doubt in Clara's mind, questioning Lucas's intentions and loyalty. Though Matthew stops short of open confrontation, his influence spreads through whispered rumors and pointed observations, testing Clara's trust in Lucas. The seeds of suspicion take root, creating small but growing cracks in the trust they have worked to build. Complicating matters further, the resurfacing family secrets come into play. Clara learns about the hidden sibling, the past betrayals, and long-concealed scandals, which make her question the stability of Lucas's family environment. She worries that the weight of these revelations may overwhelm Lucas, or that he may revert to old patterns of avoidance and secrecy. Clara begins to feel that their love, though genuine, exists in a fragile bubble, threatened by forces beyond their control. External pressures also intrude. The ranch's financial instability, land developers' advances, and the threat of natural disasters place Lucas and Clara in situations that test both skill and patience. Working together to save livestock during a sudden storm, they face moments of intense danger and high emotion. While these crises strengthen their bond in some ways, they also create friction, as fatigue, fear, and frustration bring out latent insecurities. A single misunderstanding, a misinterpreted glance, or a misheard conversation can ignite arguments, leaving both feeling isolated despite their physical proximity. Despite these challenges, moments of tenderness persist, revealing the resilience of their connection. Quiet conversations in the barn, shared laughter over a rescued animal, or a hand brushed against another in passing remind them of why they are drawn to each other. Yet even these moments are tinged with tension, as both Lucas and Clara understand that the stakes for their love are higher than ever. Their romance has evolved from a simple attraction to a test of trust, patience, and loyalty in a world where every choice carries consequences. Tensions on Blackwood Ranch reach a boiling point in Part 8, as long-hidden rivalries, betrayals, and resentments finally erupt into open confrontation. The carefully maintained facades of family unity and loyalty can no longer hold, and every secret, slight, and misjudgment comes to the forefront. forcing each character to face the consequences of their actions. The first confrontation is familial. Harrison, exhausted from managing both the internal disputes and external threats, calls a tense family meeting in the main house. Matthew, emboldened by past secrecy and ambition, openly challenges his father's authority, questioning his decisions regarding the ranch's finances and the proposed land deals. Emily, protective of the family legacy, defends her father while simultaneously expressing frustration at Matthew's recklessness. The argument escalates quickly, with accusations flying across the room. Hidden embezzlement, past mistakes, and unresolved grievances are all laid bare. Lucas, caught between loyalty to his father and frustration over Matthew's manipulations, finds his emotions pushed to the brink. Amid these family confrontations, the staff becomes embroiled in the chaos. Tom, the foreman, uncovers further evidence of deception from within the ranch hands. A longtime employee, previously trusted implicitly, is revealed to have aided Matthew in undermining both the family's finances and its reputation. The revelation shatters the sense of trust among the staff, creating fractures that ripple through daily operations. Some workers take sides, further polarizing the group and making every task, from feeding livestock to repairing fences, an arena for tension. Lucas and Clara's relationship faces its own crisis during this period. Clara overhears a private conversation between Matthew and one of the ranch hands in which subtle insinuations are made about her motives and loyalty. Misunderstanding the context, she confronts Lucas, believing he might have been complicit or dismissive of the rumors. The argument is emotional, fueled by fear, jealousy, and frustration. Their bond, once a source of solace, is now tested by miscommunication and the pressures of their environment. They are forced to confront difficult questions about trust, transparency, and whether their love can survive in a climate of betrayal. The confrontation reaches a climax when a hidden truth about Lucas's departure years ago is revealed. Documents and testimonies indicate that he had been manipulated and misled, contributing to his estrangement. The family is forced to recognize the role of past betrayals in shaping present tensions. Harrison, grappling with guilt and regret, struggles to reconcile his stern paternal authority with the mistakes that allowed division and mistrust to fester for so long. Emily and Matthew are forced to confront the consequences of ambition and secrecy, while Lucas must decide whether to forgive or sever ties permanently. Amid the chaos, external pressures continue to mount. Rival ranchers take advantage of the internal conflict, attempting to poach livestock and claim disputed land. A minor natural disaster, a sudden storm that floods part of the pasture, forces the family and staff to work together despite lingering resentment. These events amplify the intensity of confrontation, showing that betrayal has both personal and practical consequences. After the storm of confrontation and betrayal that has shaken Blackwood Ranch to its core, Part 9 focuses on the gradual process of resolution and healing. The characters, bruised but wiser, begin to address the consequences of their actions, repair fractured relationships, and rebuild the bonds that are essential to both the family and the ranch's survival. While not all wounds can be fully healed, there is a cautious optimism that trust, love, and loyalty can be restored, at least in part. The first step toward resolution occurs within the family. Harrison, recognizing the toll that past mistakes and rigid authority have taken, opens his heart in a series of candid conversations with each child. With Lucas, he admits guilt over the estrangement and acknowledges the manipulations that contributed to his departure. With Emily, he expresses pride in her dedication and leadership, while encouraging her to trust in her instincts rather than shoulder all burdens alone. Even Matthew, though still ambitious, is given a chance to explain his motives, confront his misjudgments, and begin the process of earning forgiveness. These conversations, while painful, create a foundation for renewed communication and understanding. Lucas and Clara, whose love has endured both internal and external pressures, find a renewed sense of trust. Through heartfelt dialogue, they clarify misunderstandings, acknowledge their fears, and reaffirm their commitment to one another. Clara's patience and insight help Lucas reconcile with his past and embrace the present, while Lucas's honesty and vulnerability demonstrate his growth and willingness to prioritize both love and family. Their relationship emerges stronger, tempered by challenges but ready to face the uncertainties ahead. The ranch staff also plays a critical role in healing. Tom and other trusted hands work with the family to restore order and stability. Misunderstandings among the employees are addressed, and those who betrayed the ranch are held accountable, while others reaffirm their loyalty through action and dedication. The process is not seamless. Residual tension and suspicion remain, but a sense of shared purpose begins to reemerge, reminding everyone that the ranch's survival depends on cooperation as much as it does on blood ties. Financial and operational concerns, which had previously fueled conflict, are resolved through a combination of hard work, negotiation, and compromise. Harrison considers selective land sales or partnerships that preserve the ranch's integrity while addressing immediate monetary pressures. The family learns to balance tradition with practicality, understanding that survival sometimes requires adaptation without sacrificing core values. This pragmatic approach allows them to restore confidence in the ranch's future and reinforces the importance of unity. The story reaches its climax in Part 10, where the fate of the Blackwood Ranch, its legacy, and the intertwined lives of its family members are finally determined. After months of internal strife, betrayal, and external pressures, the resolution is both dramatic and deeply emotional, reflecting the consequences of the characters' choices and the resilience of their bonds. The first decisive moment comes with the land dispute and financial threats that have loomed over the ranch. Harrison, supported by Lucas, Emily, and even Matthew, negotiates a compromise with the land developers and rival ranchers. Instead of selling off large portions of the property, he secures a limited partnership that preserves the ranch's core while providing the funds necessary to stabilize operations. The decision is met with relief and cautious optimism. It demonstrates the family's ability to adapt and work together, transforming a potential disaster into an opportunity for sustainable growth. Lucas and Clara's romance also reaches a satisfying resolution. Their relationship, tested by jealousy, misunderstandings, and external chaos, emerges stronger than ever. The couple finally commits openly, acknowledging that love requires trust, patience, and shared responsibility. Clara's integration into the family and ranch operations symbolizes the bridging of old and new, tradition and change, showing that love can flourish even amid complexity and adversity. Their bond becomes a source of stability and hope for the entire Blackwood household. Matthew experiences a turning point as well. Confronted with the consequences of his ambition and earlier betrayals, he is forced to choose between selfish gain and family loyalty. Though prideful and competitive, he ultimately steps back from reckless ventures, beginning a tentative path toward maturity and reconciliation. His actions demonstrate that even those who stumble or make mistakes can change, provided they are willing to confront their flaws. Emily, who has carried much of the emotional and operational burden of the ranch, finds validation for her dedication. She is recognized not just as Harrison's daughter, but as a capable leader in her own right. Her ability to mediate conflicts, make difficult decisions, and nurture both family and staff ensures that the ranch's legacy is protected, and her personal growth serves as a testament to resilience, intelligence, and compassion. The ranch itself is restored, physically and symbolically. Fences are rebuilt, pastures flourish, and livestock thrive. The land, which once mirrored the family's chaos, now reflects harmony and hope. The physical restoration of the ranch parallels the emotional healing of its inhabitants, underscoring the theme that legacy is not merely inherited. It is nurtured, defended, and rebuilt through effort and unity. The story closes with a sense of bittersweet reflection. Some relationships, though repaired, bear the scars of past betrayals, while others, like Lucas and Clara's love, shine brightly as symbols of renewal. Harrison, now older and more contemplative, watches over his family and land with quiet pride, understanding that his legacy is not just the acres of ranch land but the values, bonds, and resilience he has instilled. Ultimately, the Blackwood Ranch survives, not untouched, but strengthened by adversity. The family emerges wiser, more cohesive, and ready to face the future together. The conclusion affirms that love, loyalty, and forgiveness are as critical to a legacy as land and wealth. While challenges will inevitably return, the story closes on a hopeful note. A family bound by history, tested by betrayal, and united by enduring love.